Okay, so welcome back, and I'd like for you to, we're going to basically be doing windows on this tiny little space, okay, that we're working on. This is a practice space. This is not our classroom project. You can draw along, or you can simply watch and work only on our class project. Just keep that in mind, okay? So it's totally up to you how you want to manage this. Window, you are going to want to save your project periodically. Revit will remind you. We never actually save this as anything, so what I'm going to do is go in and save this as Revit Practice. Save. All right. That'll differentiate it between anything else you've got going on in Revit, okay? So now we've got windows. Notice again that we're limited on what's actually loaded. So we're going to have to go into Load Family. Let that think. It's thinking about. Okay, there we go. Open it. Now scroll down to Windows. Okay, and let's do our standard double hung windows. We're going to do a double hung with trim. Now there are a lot of different windows, and you get pictures of each of them. So you've got an arch top with trim, awning window with trim, casement with trim. Okay, so different types of windows. Fixed windows, like I said, are loaded, but we're not going to have fixed windows. I really like windows that actually open. Okay, that's a skylight. That, by the way, goes into the roof. This is a sliding window. I like these as well. You can load them. You can load two different types of windows in while you're in here. So let's say I want to have one sliding window and one in some double hung windows. So I'm going to click on the Control key. I'm going to select Slider, click on Control, and then click on Double Hung with Trim, and hold that Control button down, and then click Open. And that way I'm loading two types of windows in at the same time. All the available sizes and all of the available in both of those types of windows. It takes a few seconds longer to get that loaded. So let's first do our double hung, which is going to be up here. Everything's in alphabetical order. Okay, these are interesting sizes, but I want it to be slightly different. So I'm going to select 36 by 48, and I'm going to click on Edit Type. Sill height we're leaving at 3 foot. This is standard. Okay. The height of the window is going to be 4 feet. Again, standard. With the trim, all that stuff is going to be standard. We're going to leave that be. Okay, default sill height, 3 feet, etc. I'm going to click Duplicate and change this to 42 inches by 48. Get rid of that 2 and then click OK. Now I'm going to scroll down here to the dimensions, and where it says width, I'm going to change that from 3 feet to 3 foot 6 and click OK. And now I've got a 42 by 48. It's a bigger window. I'm going to put 2 of them. I'm going to put 1 of them here, almost, if I can, directly across from that door. Dimensions go to the outside. The front of the window faces the outside. You can zoom in and see the bigger sill faces the outside. That didn't get tagged in though, so let's erase that and add it again. Window, tag on placement, and we'll try it again. There we go. I'm just approximating its placement right now. I'll double check it later. I want the center of it to line up sort of with the center of the door across the way. I messed up on that a little bit, so what I'm going to do is select it, and I'm going to click this, which puts the sill to the outside. Now I just need to move my tag to the outside. Okay. I want my tags on the outside of my window. I also, because of the way we're going to be dimensioning, I want to, move my tag over just a little bit. Okay. Now, this tag is fine. I don't need to adjust this tag. This is exactly the way I want it. Okay. Except that I might want to do letters with this, right? So let's edit the family. Okay, type is good, so we're going to leave that alone. Okay, vertical right between. Let's see if we can. Actually, I think we're going to have to just leave it as it is. Okay. All right, so we loaded it back into the project. We're going to close this down and come back and look at this. The only other thing we may want to do is adjust the placement of the hexagon. Actually, let's do that. Let's edit the family and let's rotate the hexagon. Let's see. Line and sides 6. Let's click it and make it like so. Gonna have to move it a little bit, I think. That's not quite straight. Okay, let's try one more time. Create lines. And we'll select the polygon. And I'm going to select where it's kind of right smack dab in the middle here. And I think that gives us a better looking polygon than what we currently have. Click. All right. I just eyeballed that. It's not quite straight actually, so I may have to do it again. And it ends up being separate lines when I'm doing it like this, so that's something you got to kind of keep in mind. I just want it to be rotated. So another thing you could do potentially is to use your control key, select all of these lines. We'll keep the same size polygon. Actually, you can do it like this, and it doesn't select the text because the text box is bigger, so that hasn't actually been selected. All right, so now we can just rotate, come from the middle, click, and click. So it's either way. And then while we're still in here, we can scale it, okay? And we'll do numerical scale, 0.9, enter. And that has made it just a little bit smaller. Let's move it over just a little bit, or move our text box over. I think moving the text box over makes most sense. So now we load into the project of Revit Practice. We're going to be doing kind of the same thing when we get to our actual project, so keep that in mind, okay? Okay, it's thinking and thinking. Okay, it'll ask if you want to overwrite the existing version, and then it'll take you back to your project. You do, just like we did with the door tag, want to overwrite the existing version. Now it looks like our text is a bit off center, so let's double click this and go back in to edit the family and move this text over just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Okay, and then load it into the project, override existing version, and there we go. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I like that more. Okay, so you've seen how to add a window, how to edit a window. Let's go ahead and see about making our bathroom. Let's do some measuring. I think this is wide enough for a bathroom. I think that it probably is. Yeah, okay, so we're definitely big enough for a bathroom there. Let's go with wall. And we've all set up for wall on center line. We're going to do it again, same thing, just going to keep this whole thing going, okay? All right, and then we're going to place another window in this room. We're going to use the slider in the bathroom, okay? So we'll go to window. Now see, once I have adjusted the tag, it's going to be the same everywhere. So let's go with a slightly smaller window, 36 by 24. And have that in the bathtub. All right. I'm going to just center it on the wall, and we'll center the bathtub on the wall as well. Okay. Now, we're good here. The only thing we want to do is move the tag over, away from the center of the window. We want it centered on this other tag, but we want it moved from the center of the window because of dimensions. Okay, so that is something you're going to continue to have to do. Okay. All right. Now, okay, so we have our sliding window in here. We need to actually add a door to get into the bathroom from over here, so we'll add one. It defaults, by the way, to the last door that you used, so you're going to want to make a different door. That's pretty good. Let's see. But we want to check our placement, again, of everything that we're putting into a space, okay? Do we have enough room there for trim? Yes, we do. All right, so double check that. Always, always double check. So our bathroom components are going to go in here. We'll deal with that a little bit later, okay? All right, so we want to continue adding windows. Let's go back to our double hung, and this time we'll actually use the 36 by 48, and we will actually, let's go with smaller window on this. 24. Now, if we look at the placement of this, I want that to be 2 feet from the inside of the wall. I want another one in the exact same spot over here, okay? So I could copy it, copy from the endpoint here. So you can see we're learning a few other tools, and just set it down. Notice that I selected the actual tag as well. All right, so let's now move this over. We want this over here. We want this to be from the inside of the wall, and then we want this to be 2 feet. So we'll just fine tune the positioning after it's in place. Okay, so 2 windows there. Okay, and I'm probably going to want a window here in the middle somewhere. So let's add another one. This time we'll go 36 by 24, and we'll put it in the middle of this space. Okay. Okay, so windows there, windows there. And now you have kind of the basics of windows. So we've added several different types of windows, we've tagged them, and at this point you have seen how to add doors. So you'll kind of keep following along with these tutorials, and then there'll be separate tutorials obviously for the project assignment. But the tutorials for this assignment will help you with your quizzes, okay?